COVID-19 put the healthcare sector at center stage, and today's ETF battle is a tussle between two medical device ETFs. One is from iShares, the other is from SPDR. Who wins the battle? Find out right after this. I'm Ron DeLegge. Welcome to ETF Battles. It's great to see you again. Be sure to subscribe to our channel and press the like button if you've been enjoying our content. Keep your ETF battle suggestions coming. Also, if you see an ETF battle suggestion that another viewer has submitted in our comment section and you agree, just hit the like button on that suggested matchup and we will take a look at it. Heads up, I'll be doing an upcoming webinar about how to maximize your Social Security income during retirement. It includes the best time to trigger Social Security along with how to remove taxes from your Social Security income. So just hit the description section below to register. We've got limited space. And if you're at or near retirement, be sure to join us. Today's ETF battle was suggested by Slap Me Silly Gaming. It's a medical devices bout between ticker symbol IHI from Blackrock going up against ticker symbol XHE from State Street Global. Congratulations, Slap Me Silly. You win an ETF Battle shirt because we chose your contest. So just hit the comment section below to claim your prize. Now, the global medical device market is expected to reach $745 billion by 2030, growing at an annualized rate of 5%, mainly being driven by a couple of things: aging population, the prevalence of infectious diseases, as well as chronic diseases. And so helping us to judge today's medical devices ETF bout is an illustrious duo. We've got Eric Balchunas at Bloomberg and Todd Rosenbluth with CFRA Research. Gents, welcome back to the show. Great to have you.
Great to be with you again, Ron.
Great to see you, Ron and Todd.
So our four battle categories are cost, exposure, strategy, performance, and then our mystery category, where you, the judges, can surprise us with whatever factor or factors that you feel are material to today's matchup. You've also got the ability to nominate wildcards if you think there's a better choice elsewhere. I've got the scorekeeping chores. I'm going to keep track of our judges as we go through each of these categories, and then we'll declare an overall battle winner at the end of the show. Now, keep in mind that none of the battle outcomes on this program are ever predetermined or known in advance by myself or any of the judges. So let's get started with the first category, which is cost. We'll start with Eric. Kick us off.
This is a tough one because IHI is 41 basis points and XHE is 35. That's pretty close. IHI is a little more liquid, so it's cheaper to trade. It's such a toss-up. I guess I'm going to go with XHE simply because it's 6 basis points less, and when you're going in long-term, you're not trading it for a couple weeks, the expense ratio is going to matter much more and more. So the spread is not that big of a deal. So got to give it to XHE by a hair.
Thank you, Eric. Todd, you're up next. How do you see it in terms of cost?
I'm actually going to call this a split decision. But for the same facts that Eric used, the expense ratio is cheaper for the SPDR product, but it really doesn't trade very much. And I think that that's something for investors to be aware of. I'm actually also pleasantly surprised how large and liquid the iShares ETF is, given its fee. But I think it's a split decision in terms of the cost. Expense ratio being cheaper, the liquidity being stronger for the iShares product.
Okay, very good. That takes us next to exposure strategy. Todd, you're still up. Break it down for us.
Well, there's going to be another category that's going to be significant too. But there's a significant difference between these two products. The iShares product is market cap weighted. It's heavily concentrated in Thermo Fisher, Abbott, Medtronic, the names you probably are quite familiar with that from the large cap space. The SPDR product, like their other industry products, XHE, is equally weighted with small and mid-cap companies representing roughly the same amount of individual assets as Abbott, as Medtronic would end up having. So you really have to decide whether or not you want a more broadly diversified strategy with small and mid-cap companies, or you want something that's cap-weighted in nature. I'm going to go with XHE for the the fact that it has broader diversification in the small and mid cap space. You'll often find up and coming companies within there and not be as dominated. So I like that diversification. I think that's meaningful. Although as we get to future categories, you will see how it hasn't always helped.
Thank you, Todd. Eric, you're up next. In terms of exposure strategy, how do you see it?
Yeah, I would agree with everything Todd said. I think when you go into a product like this, whether it's a theme or an industry, I don't know what you call this. This is sort of like, you could call this one either one. It doesn't. These got this category has been around for quite a while. I would almost consider this a sub industry, but either way, equal weighting gets you to more companies, gets you outside of the broad mainstream indexes, which most people probably already own. So I like the active shares higher on XHE. Active share means the percentage of the portfolio that is not overlapped with the S&P 500. So I also like that it's got a little less pharma. XHE, because it is equal weight, you get a little less pharma in there. I think pharma dominates broad mainstream healthcare holdings in big indexes. So that's good. You even got like a little electronics in there, a little software. It's a little more liberal in what it tracks, and that equal weighting is what allows that, because it's not dominated, as Todd said, by the big ones. So I think I give the edge to XHE, but again, it's sort of a preference here. Like if you really want like the big guys to drive your returns, you'd have to go with IHI. But personally, I think XHE and equal weighting makes more sense when you're going after a position like this.
That's solid analysis, and it takes us next to performance. And this is, of course, a category that has a lot of interest from our audience. So, Eric, break it down for us. How do these two ETFs compare?
Right. So IHI has outperformed it over the past year, over the past 5 years, because those big cap names have really carried the day. If you look at year to date, though, XHE is doing a little better because there's been a sell-off. So I think the performance you'd have to give to IHI if you're just looking at the track record. But I will point out something else about the performance, which is that XHE could start winning in a hurry because it's more volatile, right? It's got more, as we call it, more pop potential. Volatility on this is 22% versus IHI, which is 16%. And I like that. I like volatility. I kind of like the fact that XHE has underperformed for that long. Usually these things go back and forth over like the decades. So I'm going to give the nod to XHE simply because I'm looking more into the future, although I got to give props to IHE for the past 5 years.
That's solid analysis. Thank you, Eric. We shift next to Todd. In terms of performance, how do you see it?
Yeah, I think Eric's trying to trigger me here by saying we shouldn't look at the past performance of an ETF, but we should look forward, which is what I normally say. I'm going to flip that. The past performance for IHI is tremendous. It's if we look over the last year, it's 1,500 basis points better. If we look over the last 3 years when we ran the data, it's 600 basis points better. It's hard to argue that the performance record is anything but stellar with IHI on a comparative basis. So my nod is going to use the facts and not the future. And the facts are going to say that the past performance of IHI is the winner.
Thank you very much, Todd. Our judges disagree there. One thing I've learned is that the one thing we all have in common, including our judges, is that we're different. So take that. So that takes us next to the mystery battle category. And Todd, you're still up. So what is your mystery and who wins it?
Yeah, my mystery battle category is going to how this fits into a more broadly diversified portfolio, how it can add to it. And so Eric alluded to this with the exposure, but if you own the S&P 500 or you own XLV, which is the healthcare select sector spider, then you are already heavily weighted towards these Thermo Fisher, these mega cap companies like Abbott and Medtronic. So to add small and mid cap exposure in a meaningful way through the spider product is compelling to me. And I think that it can complement an existing strategy a lot better than a more market cap weighted approach. So I'm going with the equally weighted spider product as a bolt on to my broader portfolio. In theory, I'm not actually doing that, but in theory, that's what I would do.
Eric, your chance to weigh in on your mystery battle category. What is it and who wins it?
My mystery battle category is M&A pop. Equal weighting equal weighting the S&P 500 does not give you M&A pop because you sort of just get a mid-cap tilt. But equal weighting an industry or a theme does give you a good shot at M&A pop, which is that typically if you equal weight a subsector like this, you're going to have a bunch of 1% to 2% weightings on very small names. Those are the names in these emerging industries that typically get bought. The biotech area is a great example, the cannabis area. And so if one of those companies gets bought, sometimes it goes up 70, 80% in a day. And obviously, we've all seen the movie Wall Street. You can't know that ahead of time or you go to jail. But without knowing that, I think putting all your eggs in an equal basket is the best way to benefit from a potential acquisition. And these medical, biotech, there's a decent amount of M&A in there. And so I would give XHE that edge for M&A pop potential.
Excellent take. Thank you very much, Eric. Now we give our judges a final opportunity to weigh in with their overall battle winner. Eric, your final chance to weigh in.
Look, IHI is a solid product. I think, I could see an advisor liking IHI. I'll put it in here. It won't move too much. Nobody will yell at me. Whatever. XHE to me it fits better. It's more active share. You're going way further out from the general broad indexes, so there's value add there. It's pretty cheap. You get the potential M&A pop. You get that little bit of hot sauce. People are searching for hot sauce to put on top of their otherwise boring beta. And so it really checks a lot of boxes for me. Not to mention, it's been trailing IHI for, looks like a decade. And so you could, maybe give it a little bit of love for the fact that those things never tend to exist forever. Usually these things go back and forth. We've seen the equal weighted sometimes outperform and the market cap, and back and forth. We've seen this in other areas of the market. So I go XHE for all those reasons.
Thank you, Eric. Todd, your final chance to give us your take. Who is your overall battle winner?
My winner is going to be XHE. The equal weight, a lot of what Eric said, the equal weighted approach to it, how it can bolt onto a portfolio. It's cheap, or it's cheaper from an expense ratio standpoint. Doesn't trade that much, but if I'm holding on as opposed to being tactical, I think that's the better product going forward to bolt onto the portfolio despite the track record. I'd be remiss to wonder, I thought Eric was going to sing us a song tied to the Beatles. Hey, Jude, come on, man.
I was going to try to point out that the Beatles were equal weighted when they started. Then they became a little more market cap weighted, where Paul sort of started to dominate. And so what do you want? You want early Beatles or you want latter Beatles? I was going to use that to explain market cap weighting and equal weighting. But I thought, you know what? Let me just get to the punch quicker. I had plenty to say anyway, but I appreciate you asking.
That's a good analogy, too. I think everyone, including music fans, can appreciate. Well, according to my battle scorecard, today's winner is going to be XHE. Thank you very much, judges, for your outstanding analysis. We had agreement there pretty much across the board, with the exception of performance, minor disagreement. But overall, you guys made some great points. XHE having more of an active share compared to IHI. Also, Eric mentioning the potential M&A activity and XHE being a beneficiary of that more so than its peer in this contest. And then, of course, mentioning that XHE for a while has been an underperformer and is a rebound ahead. So that's certainly one way to play it. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm not allowed to give investment advice, so I've got to use words like could, potentially. There's about 3 words that we use to just give us complete cover. So I just want to put that out there. Todd knows what I'm talking about. Right. Todd can be a little clear. Todd can just come out and say, we like. I can't do that. I got to say could and use these clever words.
Yes, absolutely. We do too. So yeah, and this will play out as we watch these two funds in terms of their performance ahead. But nevertheless, you guys made some great points, and we appreciate you breaking it down for us. Well done.
Thanks. It's great to come together again.
Hey, let it be, Todd. Let it be, okay? Easy.
Thanks again for watching this episode of ETF Battles. And if you'd like to see a certain matchup, give us your ticker symbols in the comment section below, or you could do that on our Twitter feed @ETF Guide. I'm Ron DeLegge. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.